Hello and welcome back to some more puzzle solving in Tell Me Why. Finally we get to do something in the game. Except choosing dialogue options. No, I'm really enjoying this part here with solving the puzzles. Yeah, I really like solving puzzles in video games. So our objective is to leave the loft, but we actually get to look at the 4 remaining puzzles.
The very old beaver's repair list.
That's the story where the princess's house gets damaged by a storm and the animals help her fix it.
Yeah. What did they do to fix it again?
The very old beaver's repair list. We need the right story again. The goblins save the old beaver. No. The beaver fixes the house. That's it. Once upon a time, in an ancient and deep forest, there lived a wise princess in a big wooden house. One night, a particularly violent storm shook the house. It shook the shingles on the roof and the planks in the walls. It even shook the beams on which the house stood, blowing the whole thing near to the ground. The princess hid in a closet, fearing the house would come down on her as she slept. In the morning, the house was still standing, but it was badly damaged. The storm had blown shingles off the roof and planks off the walls, and even bent a post upon which the house stood. The first 2 things she could fix, but the last concerned her. "What will I do?" despaired the wise princess. For though she knew many things, she did not know how to fix the big wooden house. Sorry. Just then, the old bear came by to see if the princess had any trouble in the storm. When he found her nailing planks back into place, he said, "Stop, princess, let me do that for you." "I'm happy to do it," said the princess, "but if you want to help with the roof, you may." When the pair were done with the roof and the walls, they examined the bent support post. "I could throw my body against it," said the old bear. "I am very large." He stretched up onto his hind legs, being sure the princess could appreciate how very large he was, then charged straight at the post. He threw his body against it with an impressive thud. The impact moved the post, but too far, and it ended up bent the other direction. The wise princess decided more precision was needed. She thought then of the very old beaver who kept an excellently crafted dam. Perhaps she can help. She went looking for the very old beaver and found the industrious animal hard at work, slapping down mud on a part of her dam that had been blown apart in the storm. Most of the structure was unharmed, because the beaver was very good at building things. The princess knew she had come to the right place. "Beaver," she said, "my house was damaged in the storm. Would you help me fix it?" "I believe I could do that, yes," said the very old beaver, and she paused at fixing her own den to follow the princess. The very old beaver examined the big wooden house and nodded. "It will be an easy fix," she said, and she set about righting the post with loud slaps of her tail. When she was done, the wise princess stroked the beaver's head. "Thank you, beaver," she said. "The wind blew the shingles of the roof and the planks of the walls, and even bent this post. Now, thanks to you, I still have a home." "Think nothing of it," said the very old beaver, who returned to work on her own den once again. That winter, the very old beaver grew ill, very ill. She was not able to fix her den, nor to gather food. When the princess found out, she set about delivering meals to the beaver. She brought stews of corn and beans and baskets full of bark and twigs from the beaver's favorite aspen. One day, the wise princess noticed that the beaver's den had begun to fall apart. She set about fixing it, and though she was not as talented as the very old beaver, the fix kept the creature warm and dry. "Thank you," said the very old beaver. "Of course," said the princess. You helped me when the storm blew my house near to the ground. Thanks to you, I still have a home, and I am happy to do the same. The princess continued to nurse the old beaver until the day she came to the dam, and the forest was still. No birds sang, no branches rustled, no small things skittered within the underbrush. Oh, said the princess, staring sadly at the dam, for she knew the old beaver had passed on. Goodbye, my friend. And that is how the very old beaver saved the big wooden house, and how the wise princess repaid her kindness. Okay, so we know the very old beaver is Carol, Detective Brown's mother. And she did fix...
She slapped the post with her tail to write it.
And they fixed the roof?
She fixed the roof shingles.
And the walls?
She fixed the planks that... All right.
Yes!
Damn. That must have been rough on Eddie.
Yeah, he doesn't really like to talk about her.
Dear Marianne, you cover your ears every time I try to have this conversation with you, so I thought I'd have a better chance doing this in a letter. I know you don't like saying goodbye, so I'll keep my melancholic rambling short and sweet. I want to thank you with all my heart for taking care of me for these past few months. I can't even imagine how exhausting it must have been for you to look after a sick old lady when you also have 2 small children at home. I know you want me to keep fighting this disease and hoping for recovery, but it's always been a great strength of mine to know when it's time to let go, and that time has come. I'd like to ask you for one last favor. Please take care of Eddie after I'm gone. My poor boy puts on a brave front ever since his father died, but I know he's in pain. I would be so much more at peace knowing he still has family. Maybe he could teach the kids how to fish. He loves spending time with them. Thank you for the warmth and the peace you brought to my life. Give the kids a kiss for me, will you? Carol.
The crafty goblin's good deeds.
Of course, the goblins had to help out the creatures of the forest to pay off their debt to the pelican.
Well, what did they do?
You know, I don't really remember.
Okay, that's gonna be a lot of reading in this video. We have the crafty goblin's good deeds. The goblins saved the old beaver. The goblins in the ice cave. Crafty goblins good deeds. This one? The goblins saved the old beaver. Is that it? Looks different. I'm not sure which story it is. The bear and the princess. Ah, we had that. The princess. Beaver fixes the house. Ah, wait, that's the one. Okay. The good deeds. Because there's a picture of the pelican and the sea food. Okay. The pelican forgives the goblins. Once upon a time, in a deep and ancient forest, there lived a pair of crafty goblins in a cave below a big wooden house. They lived with a wise princess who shared as much food with them as she was able, but it was never quite enough. This left the goblins hungry, very hungry, always hungry. One day, as they were out foraging for food, the pious pelican landed on a rock and dumped as a smorgasbord, well, I don't know, smorgasbord from her beak, which the goblins knew was magic and never emptied. There were king crabs in red, blue, gold, and scarlet, veiny blue shrimp, pink-shelled scallops, oblong brown clams, purple spiny urchins, and even one prickly red sea cucumber. The food just kept coming. They watched as the pelican ate one clam and then took a nap. "Do you think she would mind if we took just a little?" asked one of the goblin to the other. "Her beak never empties. She won't possibly miss a couple of crabs," said the second, licking her lips. They were agreed, and so they crept over, flitched some crabs, and ran. The goblins scarfed the crabs, but when they finished, they found that they were still hungry. "She won't miss a handful of shrimps," said one goblin to the other. The goblins scarfed the shrimp, but when they finished, they found that they were still hungry. "Maybe also a few scallops," said one goblin to the other. The goblins scarfed the scallops, but when they were finished, they found that they were still hungry. So they went back for clams, and then urchins, and finally even the sea cucumber. Finally they were not hungry, but there was also nothing left. Just then the pelican woke up. "What happened to my food?" she asked. Unable to lie about it, the goblins confessed their crime. The pelican was dismayed, but she was a charitable-hearted bird, and she could tell the crafty goblins were growing little creatures. "Goblin," said the pious pelican, "I will share my food with you, but you must in return follow my example and be as generous with others as I am with you. Take that to heart, and I will have considered your debt paid." But we have nothing to give," said the goblins. "You have your nimble hands and your crafty brains and your loving hearts," said the pelican. The crafty goblins realized how much they had to give, and for the rest of the day they looked for ways to help the other creatures of the forest. They found the stalwart moose struggling with an itchy, hard-to-reach spot on his back, and so they climbed up and gave it a good scratching. Next, they helped the old bear who could not get the honey out of a narrow beehive. They climbed up the top of a tree with the hive and then dropped it, cracking it open. Finally, they found the princess, crying over a loss she would not speak about. So they wrapped So they wrapped their little arms around her in a great big hug and stayed until she felt better. When they were done, they returned to the pious pelican. "Did it feel good being as generous as I am?" asked the pelican. "It did," said the goblins. "I'm glad," said the pelican. "We all have problems that we can't solve on our own. But if everyone goes about with generosity in their hearts, then there's always someone on hand to help. But we all must commit to do so, or there may be no one there to help you when you need it." This made sense to the goblins, and they thanked the pious pelican for her food and the lesson. Of course, by this time they were hungry again, and that remained an ongoing problem until the day the stalwart moose taught them to fish. But that is another story. And that is how the pious pelican forgave the crafty goblins and how she taught them charity. Okay, so they dropped the beehive.
Broke open the beehive for the bear.
They hugged the princess.
They hugged the princess when she was crying.
And they scratched the moose.
They gave the stalwart moose a good scratch on the back. Nailed it. Our lives would have been so different if their friendship hadn't gone to shit.
The Pelican Crossing is a specialty gift boutique located near the O'Shea Glacier, catering to Gatineau Channel tourists as well as Delos Crossing locals. We specialize in an assortment of high-quality products from home accessories, handmade souvenirs to personalized apparel and locally made art. The Pelican Crossing will be the first store to act as a relay between the buzzing arts and craft scene and customers. In addition to a wide array of novelty handcrafted products, the consumer will enjoy friendly and knowledgeable customer service from Vecchi store co-owner Tessa Vecchi and up-and-coming artist Marian Ronan. This business plan is prepared to obtain financing in the amount of $20,000 to purchase inventory and to help cover expenses in the first year of operations. In year 1, the Pelican Crossing plans to break even, and in year 2, we plan to generate a moderate profit. Working on the executive summary part of our business plan. What do you think, Tessa? Okay, so they were planning to open a business together. Tessa and Marianne.
The old bear's gifts for the princess. I'm totally blanking on that story. What did he give her again?
Why don't we open up the book and check?
I think I know which one that is. Yeah, the bear and the princess. Once upon a time, in the ancient and deep forest, the old bear stood on the bank of the river, swiping at salmon on their way to the spawning grounds. Just as he'd got his paw on a particularly fat one, he heard a woman shouting for help. He considered simply eating his salmon, but then she screamed again, and he lumbered over to investigate. After a short walk, he found the princess clinging to the top of the tree, while a wolf snarled and snapped at the base of the tree. Old Bear would normally not get in the middle of such a situation. After all, as a fellow predator, he understood the wolf's need to hunt. But when he saw the princess, he was struck by her beauty, and he knew he had to help. With a great roar, the bear heaved onto his hind legs, rising to his full height. The wolf snapped and snarled in his direction, but the bear roared again, and the wolf took off into the trees, tail between his legs. The old bear fell back down onto all fours and stared up at the princess. She regarded him fearfully. "You can come down," he said. "How do I know you didn't save me just so you could eat me yourself?" asked the princess. "I suppose this is a fair question," admitted the old bear, "but I promise I won't eat you." The princess had no reason to trust the old bear, except that he had kind eyes, and so she slowly made her way down the tree. When she reached the ground, the bear only watched her, and so she supposed she was not going to be eaten today. "Thank you," she told the bear. "Of course," he said. "Can I walk with you back to your home?" "Of course," said the princess. And so the princess and the old bear walked together through the forest, back to the big wooden house. After that day, the princess would occasionally find gifts from the bear: a fresh caught salmon, a handful of ripe berries, a newly bloomed bluebell. One spring, when a sudden thaw flooded the path out of the princess's home, the old bear was there, and she rode his back across the river. The old bear began to think that the princess should be his mate. After all, she had no mate, and she needed one, and he could keep her warm and provide her a much more suitable den, and catch fish for her, and protect her from wolves. She, in turn, would brush out his fur and pick berries without smooshing half of them, and scratch that one part of his back he couldn't reach, and with how she took care of the goblins, she would be an excellent mother for his cubs. One day the old bear came with a ring of spruce and asked the princess to be his bride. "I'm sorry," said the princess. "You are a very good friend, and I appreciate all you've done for me, but I cannot marry you." "You're a bear, I'm a princess. It would never work." The old bear was crushed. "Can we still be friends?" he asked. "We will always be friends," said the princess, "but I will never marry you." The old bear and the princess carried on their friendship, and after 1 year he tried again to ask her to be his bride, but once again she refused him. This happened 1 year later, and 1 year after that, and then finally the princess said, "Old bear, you are my dear friend, and I appreciate all you have done for me, but I would sooner you have left me to the wolves than marry you. And that is how it will always be. I have my hands full with the 2 goblins who live under my house, and they are all I need." That wounded the old bear deeply, but it was finally enough to stop his proposals. They remained friends, and he continued to give her gifts of fresh salmon and ripe berries and newly bloomed bluebells, but the old bear never again asked the princess to be his bride, much as he might have wanted to. And that is how the princess befriended the old bear and how she refused him. Poor bear. The old bear is the gift. Okay, so he collected berries.
Some roses, maybe?
No, not roses.
Wait. A handful of ripe berries?
Yes.
Fresh caught salmon?
Mm-hmm.
A newly bloomed bluebell? Nice. Man, he had it bad. Just couldn't let go.
Okay, letter from Sam to Mary Ann. Sorry for the note under the door like a prison inmate. You okay? I stopped by and rang a couple times this week, but you didn't answer. I could see the light in the hayloft, so I figured you were in, but didn't want to talk. I hope I didn't ruin everything. I know I probably came on kind of strong, but the thing is, I don't know how to talk to a woman like you. You are strong and kind and you know so much. It's hard for me to know how to keep up. I guess all that went to my head. But I want you to know I got the message and I'm gonna get out of your hair now, and there doesn't need to be any bad feelings. We can pass in the street and say hello or not. It's okay. P.S. I noticed your car was leaking, so I put some sealant in there. You might need to take it to the shop though. Let me know if you want me to come with you, because sometimes these guys try to rip you off. If not, no big deal. Sam. Mm-hmm.
The crafty goblin's loot.
That's from The Princess and the Two Thieves. I drew the original.
And I distinctly remember drawing that cake, which is arguably the best part of that illustration.
All right, Picasso. And you probably remember what the goblins stole in that story, huh?
Okay, I know this one. This one. The Princess and the Two Thieves. Once upon a time, in an ancient and deep forest, there lived a wise princess in a big wooden house. The house was built from the strong wood of the forest, and it kept the princess warm and safe. The princess was not a native of the forest, but she never spoke about where she had come from, for it made her cry. She did not have many friends, but that was how she liked it. The forest was big and deep, and many paths led to her house, but not many visitors passed by. The princess was happy to be left alone in the big house in the deep forest. She knew that the forest would provide for her, but that its generosity had to be respected, so she only took what she needed. And for a long time, life was just fine for the princess in the big wooden house. One winter day, when snow blanketed the earth and ice bent the trees low, the wise princess realized that food was disappearing from her house. It was not much at first, only a few fruits and nuts and eggs vanishing during the night. Maybe it's the birds, she said, or the mice. And for a time, the princess was okay with losing some food, for the winter was long and little creatures needed to eat too. But then small items started to disappear as well. Spoons and plates, forks and knives, and blankets. It was as if every time she was in one part of the house, something disappeared in another room. That can't be birds or mice, said the princess. I think I have a thief. So she went outside to look for traces in the snow and noises in the wind, but there was nothing to be found, nor to be heard. That's strange, said the princess. Maybe the thief is hiding inside my house. For many days she hunted, looking behind the curtains and under the bed, in the attic and the chimney, behind the poles and under the carpets, but she found nothing. And as she searched, food kept on disappearing, night after night. I will make a cake, frowned the princess, a big cake with every egg and fruit and nut I still have, so that I only have one thing to keep my eye on. She spent the whole day making the cake and using everything she had left. The cake she made was so big she could hardly carry it. If I manage to protect the cake, I'll be able to survive the long winter, she said. So she added a log to the oven and she kept the big cake safe inside. But the next morning, the lock had been opened, and the cake had disappeared. At first, the princess cried because that cake was the last of her food until the snow melted. But then she noticed 2 trails of tiny feet in the spilled flour, and she followed the tracks to a hidden hedge in the floorboards. This is how the princess realized that 2 tiny thieves were living under the wooden house, right below her feet. So, we have fruits and nuts and eggs.
Maybe they took some of the princess's fruit? I'm pretty sure they stole some eggs.
Fruits and eggs. And where are the nuts?
Did they steal candy?
No.
Actually, I'm not sure. Some flour for the cake, maybe? Actually, I'm not sure. Didn't they take some of the princess's clothes?
Spoons and plates, forks and knives, blankets.
Actually, I'm not sure. What if they took some spoons? That's it. I always wondered where that drawing went. She said it was her favorite, and then one day it just disappeared.
You are the best mom in the world. The prettiest princess. Painted by Tyler, I assume. Okay. Well, I think we went through all the puzzles, almost all of the stories, and we got a lot more background information. And it's time to leave, I think.
You really want to go? You sure we've seen everything?
No, I think we've seen everything.
Either way, I'm ready for this to be over.
Me too.
Okay. Call up the memory of Marianne's argument on the deck. Okay. Yeah. This is the picture. This is where she buried something.
This is the spot.
I can't believe he's been down there this whole time.
Oh, that's actually where she buried the child.
We played Compass and North Star here. I wish she would have just told us.
Well, she probably would have told them once they grew older. I don't know, they were children. They probably wouldn't have understood at that point. And she probably didn't want to put the weight of that on them.
She tried to tell us. In her own Marianne kind of way.
The stories. Yeah. What are you thinking?
Overwhelmed.
That we just found out we have a brother, and at the same time that we'll never get to meet him. It's a lot to process.
Poor Marianne. Come on. Let's keep going.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for us to figure out who Marianne was arguing with on the dock.
Time to find out who is the father.
almost.
I know it. Yeah.
Tom? Tom Vecchi is our father?
Of course. It had to be him.
Tessa knew, didn't she?
Yeah, she must have. It's what she didn't want to tell us.
God, Marianne and Tom?
I know.
What should we do now?
Yeah, call him out here and make him tell us what was going on.
And if he won't?
We know his secret. He will. Tom? It's Alyson. We need to talk. We know it was you. Let me take the lead on this. I know him better. I thought I did, anyway.
Sure. Whatever. As long as we get answers.
Kids, listen.
You're our father.
Yes.
You knew how bad it got out here. How little we had. Why didn't you help Marianne?
You mean all the money she wanted? We didn't have anything to spare. Well, that winter was rough on everyone. You would have starved out here if not for all the free food we gave you.
Don't act like you had anything to do with that. That was all Tessa.
That's a cruel presumption, young man. Maybe it was Tessa's idea initially. But I supported it. And your mother was happy to live off our handouts.
Oh, well, he was there that night. We saw him hiding behind a tree.
You were here that night. You saw Marianne and Tyler. Why didn't you help?
I know it wasn't my best moment. But she threatened my life.
So you just decided to let her drown?
I didn't decide anything. Everything happened so fast, I panicked. And by the time I got to town, Brown was already on his way out. There was nothing else I could do.
So what do we do now?
We tell him he's gotta fix the mess he made. One way or another.
You tried to burn down our barn and knocked Tyler unconscious.
I never meant to hurt anybody. You weren't supposed to be home.
Doesn't excuse the fact that you didn't even stop to help.
What do you want me to say? I panicked. I was terrified that this whole thing was gonna blow up in my face. I had to do something.
Hey, you hearing me?
Yo, sorry. I'm trying really hard to keep myself from punching him in the face.
He's not even the least bit sorry for what he did. He could have seriously hurt you.
Yeah, he's just a fucking coward.
Does he really expect us to believe there wasn't anything else he could have done that night?
rather not think about it.
You failed us, Tom. You need to make it right.
I'll do whatever you want. As long as none of this gets out.
Excuse me?
You want me to pay for my mistakes? Fine. But please, Tessa can't know. This'd kill her.
Tessa already knows, Tom.
No. That's impossible.
It never occurred to you the reason Tessa cut Marianne off was you?
But she never said anything. Oh, Lord.
You should try talking to your wife. Maybe if you had, we wouldn't be in this situation. And maybe Marianne wouldn't be dead.
Oh, come on. You of all people should appreciate how troubled Marianne was. She was unhinged. Something like this would have happened sooner or later.
Not sure about praying. But he definitely abandoned her.
And you just couldn't risk being there when it happened. Even though it meant leaving her to raise kids out here all by herself. None of this would have happened if you'd manned the fuck up!
I didn't have a choice. I know it shouldn't have happened.
You always have a choice.
But, well, your mother was a very pretty woman.
Yeah.
And she'd been so many places and done so many things. The way I always thought I would have.
Alyson rolling her eyes.
Caught up.
Everything.
Love made me a fool. Look, I made mistakes. But this will not go any further than the three of us.
Why? We know. Tessa knows. Marianne's dead. There's no point in hiding it anymore.
He's afraid it'll tank his campaign. Am I wrong?
Jesus, Tom.
I've kept your secret all these years. I don't want to go spilling it. But I will if I have to.
What?
Yeah. Your little story of
Asshole.
self-defense. I've never told anyone how Marianne really died. That night, I came out here because I was worried about your mother.
Why do they do it? They made me do it. They made me do it. Why did they do it? This is his fault. This is his fault.
I still don't get why she was
Manhunter!
threatening to shoot Tyler. So they can't take him away from her? But I don't know.
I'm not gonna hurt you.
So she wasn't gonna shoot him. And he's just a coward.
No! No way! You're a fucking liar!
I saw what I saw.
You're manipulating us just like you manipulated her!
Tyler!
You're not listening to this, are you?
Be smart about this, Alyson. Are you sure you want this to get out? You've got way more here to lose than he does. His name will be all but cleared, but you'll be a killer. What will your uncle say?
He knows already.
And Michael? Well, the whole town might turn on you.
Don't touch her.
Michael wouldn't mind. He knows. I think Tyler killed the mother.
No, I'm
and he
right.
doesn't mind.
Just get out of here, Tom. Tyler and I need to talk alone.
Just, please, think twice before making any rash decisions. There are a whole lot of lives at stake here.
Leave us the fuck alone. And never come back! Allie, you okay? You didn't let that asshole get to you, did you? Did you?
What if he's right? I've been having all these nightmares about that night, and they were a lot like how Tom said. And now, when I try to remember, that's all I can see.
He's trying to mess with your head, and you're letting it work.
No, it's more than that. Ever since we started digging, I haven't been able to shake this feeling like something's off.
Something's off because he put this in your head. Don't let him get away with it.
He might not be lying. We keep getting things mixed up. We remember totally different versions of the past.
Those are just details. This isn't that. She was going to kill me.
I'm not so sure anymore, Tyler.
She had a gun pointed at me. She chased me. She said she was going to kill me.
She threatened Tom with those exact same words. With the same gun, on the same pier. The thing you said to Eddie the other day got thrown back at me. Don't you think it's possible that happened here too?
I guess it's possible. Fuck. I don't know. And we're never gonna know the truth, are we? Because the second you walk away from something, that's it.
Yeah.
I guess at this point, you just have to decide what you believe.
Me?
Yeah. You need to start dealing, Allie. And that means coming to terms with whatever version of the past feels the most true to you. No more running. Whatever you choose, you gotta live with it, okay?
Okay. So I think we have to choose now. Whatever version of the past feels the most true
I'm not gonna hurt you.
to us. And
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm going to kill you!
to be honest, I don't feel like to me it doesn't make sense that Marianne wanted to kill Tyler. It's just everything we've seen so far. She wasn't like mad at the children or anything. It actually so far it always looked like she was trying to keep herself together and be a good mother for the children. And yeah, I mean, children can get things mixed up, right? And why did she have the gun in the first place? I think maybe she actually wanted to use it. Maybe she was scared, right? That people would come and take the children away from her. So maybe she wanted to use the gun to scare them away, to protect the children. So I'm gonna go with Tom's version.
I'm not gonna hurt you.
Because it makes more sense to me. It seems
I'm not gonna hurt you.
more true.
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm not gonna hurt you. Oh, please. No, don't do this. Alyson, this isn't what...
She was going to kill herself.
Oh.
Just herself. You interrupted her and we got confused.
I wasn't
Are you
even
sure?
considering that.
That attic. Tyler, that was meant for us. It was her way of explaining what she was going through. I made a horrible mistake.
Hey, it's okay. I'm here. Hey, Peep what I just found downstairs. What do you think? Will it have aged well, or just gone bad? Where are you at right now?
I just keep hearing her say she wasn't going to hurt you. Over and over.
We were kids. We freaked out. You weren't equipped to deal with that shit.
She was just talking to you. And I killed her.
Stop.
I don't want to use our voice again. Ever.
What? Seriously?
I don't know. But I want to stop feeling like this. And I think we'll be better off without it. This morning, I kept getting these horrible visions. Of you and Marianne and Eddie.
Visions. Like our memories?
Yeah, but different. It was all my worst thoughts brought to life. You were in my bedroom saying I abandoned you. Eddie called me a snake.
I'm sorry. I should have been there for you.
It's okay, I was the one who walked out. I can't let that happen again.
I don't think it will. Something's been pushing us to find answers. And now we have them. Maybe I'm wrong. And if it stays bad, we can stop. But I really want to keep what makes us, us.
The Mad Hunter was forced to remain below the lake with the Moon Hag, but she did not kill him, because even reduced to just one hand, he was too useful a servant. Lo, he
What
plotted
do you
the day
think?
he would emerge,
Brothers and
to
sisters?
once again hunt the wise princess and earn back his left hand.
Always.
And that is the story of how the crafty goblins rescued the wise princess from the Mad Hunter.
Six months later. No haircut.
One last look. I'm good to go.
Took them 6 months to take care of everything.
Hey, it's me.
Hey, me.
House is empty. I'm getting ready to head out. So, last chance. Is there anything you want me to do while I'm in town?
Listen, Ty, you're dropping off the keys with Tina, right?
Yep, gonna leave them at her office on my way to the ferry.
Well, that's it then.
How's Juno?
Big and full of people, even without tourists. Michael's been writing up rules for the apartment. I need your support against his whole food policy.
Just refuse to sign anything until I get there. Okay?
Okay, but you better hurry. If he gets his way, we'll only have one small shelf for junk food.
What? Heresy. I'm gonna need like twice that just for snack cakes after my surgery next month.
I know, right? This cannot stand.
How are you?
Good, actually. Really good. You?
Same. You know, emptying the house really cleared my head out.
Thanks for really needed me this week. And after everything that happened, I just felt like I needed to keep some miles between me and Delos Crossing.
No worries. You still loving your therapist?
Gail, yes. I was actually just doing some letter writing she assigned me as homework. It really helped me get some perspective.
That sounds awesome. Did you see the article I sent you about Tom losing the election?
Ah, yes. I saw your message right before derby practice, so I didn't have time to read it. But I did cackle at the headline.
Did you picture Tom's face whenever you went in for a block?
No, but that is a great idea.
Anyways, I'm glad Tessa finally left his ass. Karma is a bitch.
Oh. He got what he deserved, I guess.
Okay, I'm gonna hang up now.
See you tonight.
Okay, I'm gonna take one last walk through the house and then head to the ferry.
Drive safe.
Pretty sure that's the only way possible in the old Alyson mobile.
Love you, Tyler.
Love you.
Well, it seems like they actually made the true story all public. Which is good.
Hey there, little buddies. You keep an eye on this place for us, okay?
Oh, well. I like to think that that's because we fed the birds in the beginning of the game. And now they built a nest and laid some eggs.
I hope the next goblin family bakes a lot of sand pies in this.
Gather your stuff and lock the house. Yeah, so we're gonna take a last walk through the house, he said. Look around. Such a great house, such a great location.
Gonna miss this.
One more jog down memory lane, Mr. Ronan?
Hey, I'm having a private moment with me, myself, and I here.
Okay, carry on.
Goblins out.
Everything okay, Ty?
Actually, yeah. Everything really is.
Sounds good. Sounds like we made the right decisions. Feels good. It always bothers me when I feel like I made a bad decision in a game and I can't go back and fix it.
I'm sorry we're leaving you alone out here. Bye, Leo.
How come she could just bury a child there? Like, don't you have to report the death of a child? Does there not have to be a public funeral? I mean, I don't know how it works in Alaska, but... Well, someone should notice that a child is missing.
Yeah, time to move on.
Yeah, let's just leave this place behind. One last look in the barn. And then through the house. And then we're gonna leave. Okay, it's closed. And it's closed.
It's too bad Tessa closed her cafe. That other place just doesn't quite hit the spot. I should have probably run these by his place. Or just drop them off at Bernie's.
For Sam.
Sucks to suck, Thomas Anthony Fecky.
Veni Vedi Losti by Amy Chan. Delos Crossing. Alaska. I just completely lost the name. Thomas Becky loses mayoral election against current Mayor Leslie Scow. Mayor Leslie Scow declared victory in her bid for re-election over controversial challenger Thomas Becky. With almost 68% of the vote, Scow's triumph was the widest margin of victory in Delos Crossing's history. Her rival, local business owner Becky, sparked much debate in the community over his gun control policies. But Scow's success has been mainly attributed to her willingness to reach across party lines. Many in the community say her re-election came as no surprise. According to sources close to the city council, Scow invited Becky to join her mayoral cabinet, but Becky refused. Becky declined to comment on the election results, except to say that he plans to focus on his family and other business pursuits. Some in the community were baffled by his comments, given the recent shuttering of Becky's business, the highly popular Tessa's Cafe, managed by his wife Tessa Becky. In a separate statement, Mrs. Becky announced she was ending her thriving business to focus on personal and spiritual matters. But nothing about divorce or anything.
Huh. Well, at least she finally dumped his ass.
Dearest Tyler and Alyson, I am writing this letter from Juneau International Airport, where I will soon board a plane to Manila on a missionary assignment. I apologize for not coming in person to say goodbye, but I was called to make this decision alone and to carry it out on my own as well. I am sure you understand that sometimes we must follow without question the prompting of the spirit. I will not be coming back to Delos Crossing for some time. Before I go, there is still something I feel I must confess to you both. Perhaps because I have never found the strength to confront my husband, I have never been able to forgive Mary Ann for her betrayal. I truly did love you both like my own children, and I always tried to forgive your mother for her unapologetic lifestyle. But when I discovered that you were the fruit of her affair with my Thomas, I wanted her to suffer like I was suffering, and I brought down on your house the wrath I never dared allow to unfold in mine. I've been deeply ashamed all these years, and I'm surprised how much better I feel with it out in the open. The greatest thing about truth is the peace it brings to your life. I hope you can find it in your hearts to forgive me. You have taught me once again how love will bring you further in life, something that Mary Ann had been trying to show me all along. Take care of each other, always. In his steps, Tessa. Oh, it's a nice letter. Okay. Taking some pictures. Hey goblins, word in town is you guys finally sold the house? I came by tonight to help you fix what needs to be fixed, but there was nobody home. Are you gone already? Things change so fast these days. Anyway, you know where to find me if you want me to fix things. If you're still in town, I mean. It's getting late and I'm pretty tired. Oh, and I'm sorry for acting like the stupid ass I am. Everywhere I look, I think about what used to be. I've been trying to do better, but I think it might be too late for an old bear like me. Not sure if this will reach you. It's getting late. Call me if you're still around. Be safe, Sam. P.S. I wish it was easy to fix everything. I wish it was as easy to fix everything as a boat.
Man, seeing it empty is so weird. But at least it's the last time we'll ever have to.
Oh, it's like one of these holographic cards. Okay. Yesterday, 11:46 p.m. Michael must be relieved. Oh, it's a chat. Must be relieved to finally be done with that place. No doubt. If traffic's not too bad, I should be back at our place around 4 p.m. Haha, traffic in Delos. Only if the mailbox bandit escaped. Hey, I'm making that biscuit thing you like. Damn, I'm on my way. I'll probably take out some fire hydrants and stop signs. Don't die. I'll keep it warm. See you in a few. Grinning emoji. Okay, so it sounds like they are living together now. View. Delos Crossing most wanted escapes. Fuzzy Bandit puts mail at peril once again. Okay, they couldn't hold him. Anything in the kitchen? Nothing. So I guess we can check upstairs. After the bathroom. Nothing. All we are taking are some pictures.
Certainly hope the new owners are Mr. or Mrs. Fix-It.
There's a paper plane on the lamp.
Goodbye, broom. Goodbye, room. Goodbye, man on the moon. For posterity.
Okay. I think that's it. Two goblins. It's like the last episode of every sitcom ever. You know, when they move out and you see the empty place that you've been seeing for 10 seasons. Juneau University. Yeah, I guess, I don't know, we're studying, both of us, Alyson and Tyler? I'm not even sure. But I think it's time to leave. So, let's go. Okay.
Such a good day.
Not yet. The JCE 5th annual queer prom. This is that thing I was telling you about. See you there. D. Wait, what? Yeah, they should stuff and lock. Oh, lock the house.
I should grab the rest of my stuff before I head out.
What stuff? Oh, the laptop. Okay. That's it. Okay, I just had to pause for a moment. I got a package, but let's continue. I cannot take this, and I don't know what else to pick up. Yeah, I think that's it. We have the laptop, and let's try to close the door again. Leave the house for good.
Well, this is goodbye for real, I guess. Hey, Aaron. It's Tyler Ronan. I thought I'd catch you on your break between sessions, but I guess you're going long with another rebel with too many causes. I know I haven't reached out since I left Fireweed, but I just wanted to say, well, you were right about grief, about it going in circles. This morning, I was out on the porch staring at the fog, and my mother, she just tumbled right out of me. But it was okay. It actually felt good to remember. Anyway, give me a call back if you get a chance. I'll see you around. And thank you.
All right. And there we have it. The ending, I'm actually very, very happy with the ending we got. It's, yeah, I think we made all the right choices, actually. Like, even the earlier choices when Alyson confessed and when Tyler made up with Eddie Brown was his name, right? The policeman. Yeah. So it's a tragic story, obviously. But now, like, I wasn't even thinking about like that Marianne might commit suicide or had planned to commit suicide. But with that in mind now, I feel like it's like Maybe she would have ended up dead that night either way. And Alyson... There's no reason for Alyson to blame herself for killing her. So... Yeah, I think it was fine. To go with the other... Like, you know, to change the memory, to change the... what we believe is true. The Tom Vecchi, he got what he deserved. He turned out to be a real asshole. Yeah, and it feels like that's a good end for the twins. Good ending. So now I'm very curious about the statistics for our decisions. Alyson was grateful they completed Marianne's puzzle. Yeah. Oh yeah, there was the box. Well, there was no point in forcing it open. It wasn't that difficult. Alyson was influenced by Tom's testimony. %0 believed in Tom's testimony. 100% believed in the twins' memory. Wait, what? What did I do? I believed in Tom's testimony. Okay, that's very weird. I'm wondering if this is the statistics. The statistic is wrong. How can it be 100%? Or if I actually chose different than everyone else. But that was the part about if Marianne was actually trying to kill Tyler or not. And I didn't believe she was trying to kill her son, daughter, whatever. Okay, well, this is surprising. The twins trusted their bond and kept their voice. Well, firstly, Tyler wanted, or was it Alyson? One of them wanted to let go of the voice, but I guess they changed their minds. So our decisions, after all, did not disturb the relationship between the siblings, which is also nice. Because I feel like we could have messed with the relationship between them. Or we could have messed it up. Eddie was relieved that Alyson accepted responsibility in the murder. He was relieved. Oh, that's actually cool. Yeah, that was a good decision. I already said it. It was very important for Alyson to get closure. Sam felt understood by Alyson. We listened to Sam's story. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he was Sam was one of the nicest characters in the whole game. Like the loner, you know, little weird alcohol problem, but like with a very, very, very good soul. Michael was happy to become good friends with Tyler. Ooh, 71% kissed Michael. Yeah, well, I didn't feel like it was the right time to start a romance. I said that before. It was like Tyler and Alyson, they had to figure out their stuff before starting something else. And, you know, it doesn't mean it's never gonna happen. Okay, I think this is it for Tell Me Why. I hope you really enjoyed the series as much as I did. I really like these kind of games. I know there's a lot of reading, a lot of story, a lot of dialogue and everything, and little gameplay. It's a certain type of game, but I really enjoy it, like at least every now and then. And I'm actually looking forward to playing Life is Strange True Colors as well in the future. So I'm probably gonna do that very soon. If you are interested in that, definitely stay tuned. And you're gonna find it on my channel. But I'm probably gonna play a different game next, something a little more dark. So yeah, if you wanna see more of me, of this, then you are very welcome to subscribe to my channel, and I hope I'll see you in the next series.